Good morning. So it's now Monday the 8th of November and hopefully this will be my last week of lawn care. So I've got some aerations that I need to do. Obviously once I've aerated I'll feed the lawn and then some just standalone weed and feeds. So that's what I'm hopefully going to get them all done this week, and then I can then get the aerator winterized, and then it's time to just concentrate on the final kind of mowings of the year and the leaf cleanup. This is comfortably my most smallest lawn I think I've ever looked after, and it's just two little lawns in the back garden. So what we're going to be doing today is hollow tine aeration and then just a weed and feed. So you may remember from videos I've made before we aerate, I just want to make sure that the tines are clean, because what can happen is the soil can, like the last plug I took from the last lawn, can stay in the tine, become solid, and then actually make this hollow tine a solid tine basically. So I just need to just check, and I've just got a little spark plug tool here with a screwdriver on the end. Here's my wallet here, and in this little wallet thing I've got the original really skinny solid tines, and then I've got the fatter, the newer solid tines. So I keep it all together. This stays with the machine, and wherever it goes I've got the options of tines to change them up as I need to. And actually I just found this just quite a good little tool just for getting the mud out. So now you know what I mean when I say small. I've been looking after this lawn just this year. It's come on quite well. Before it was really patchy, very weedy. I mean, that tree there makes a big impact on it, but there seems to be some good improvements since. Clients seem very happy with it, so I guess that's all you can ask for. Now if this was really thick with leaves, I would probably clear them up, otherwise I'm going to make a massive job for myself, but I will be clearing the cores up, so when I do that I'll just sort of collect these leaves at the same time.
they're all above on the iTunes, and I've always kind of had issues with the audio on and off. And, I've tried to keep it in the house. I've been recording these podcasts.
It's the smallest lawn I do, by far, and you might ask me why. Is it worth it? Well, if you remember a video I did where I prepped a lawn for the client's daughter's wedding, I think it was, they are next door neighbours, and one of them got the lawn and the other one didn't. So that is why. It's all about grouping and getting things together. It's only a small lawn, but if I can treat that while I'm treating other lawns or visiting other lawns, then two birds, one stone, I suppose. The 8th of November, and things are beginning to sort of wind down now. I've got 2 more fortnightly cuts in November, and obviously weeklies will normally go fortnightly during November, but this last year didn't because things were still growing. We've obviously just had those frosts in the south of England, so who knows quite what will happen with the growth, but you know, the leaves have barely dropped. The maples seem to have dropped, and the acers and things like that, but the oaks have barely turned. So I can see my weekly staying weekly just purely to deal with leaves, and the fortnightlies I'll be cutting less grass but picking up more leaves. And so this is the big final kind of push to get the lawn care side of things done. When the maintenance season comes around, I always prioritise seeding jobs. So total lawn care jobs, which is aeration, scarifying, overseeding, or seeding, and then top dressing. I always prioritise those jobs. Then kind of like secondary priority is jobs where you're either scarifying or aerating, or both, and then just overseeding. And then I always finish up with the jobs which are just aeration and or the weed and feeds. Obviously with scarifying, the most important part of scarifying is the recovery period. So if you do a scarifying too late in the season and then all of a sudden we just go straight into frosts, it's going to struggle to recover, and I don't want that. Whereas aeration, there's not really there's not much of a disturbance, so therefore there's not much of a recovery period needed. So that's why I'll always end up the end of particularly the autumn maintenance season with just a few aerations and a few weed and feeds left. So once I get these weed and feeds done, next week will be a mowing week, so that'll be all my fortnightlies. Again, that'll just be leaves and, you know, a little bit of grass perhaps on some of them. So this time last year, looking back at Instagram, next week last year, if that makes sense, was a real big leaf week. Massive leaf week. I don't think it's going to be like that because the leaves just haven't turned yet, or quite as much as they had done last year at this point. So it may be that the following fortnightly, which will actually be the end of November and the start of December, they will be the really big leaf cleanups for my regular clients. So once we've got kind of through this month, it may be in 2 weeks' time, if I've done all the aerations and I've got all that lawn care done, I might start looking into the winter jobs that I've got on. I've got a lot of clients who ask me to do jobs during the summer, and my reply is always the same. Look, I can do them, but it'll be when I can fit them in, and that'll be more sort of late autumn, winter time. If you need it done now, get it done. If you're okay to wait, then we'll do that. More often than not, they prefer to wait to let someone, I guess familiar, someone they know, do the work. So I've got some winter kind of hedge jobs I do. I don't really advertise hedge work and stuff, but I can do it, and it's well, certainly I can look at it and I can make a judgment call on whether I want to do it or not. So I've got a few of those, and then the start of December, I've got a load of big like standalone leaf jobs where the client likes to come in, like me to come in once a year, first week of December normally, once all the leaves are down or there or thereabouts. So I'll have the billy goat this year, so that should be able to speed those things up. Also, something that I've started to do, particularly with the previous summers we've had for, you know, since about 2018, where you get to August and the lawns are just burnt up and, you know, you're not mowing anything really. Your weeklies have gone fortnightly. I've ended up kind of doing a few sort of hedge jobs, and that's been quite good, and it's filled that time, and that's, you know, that sort of money I've lost from the lack of growth on the lawns, and that's been great. So I did that in 18, 19, 20, get to 21, and it's just been raining so hard all summer that, you know, I've just been playing catch up, trying to keep on top of the growth. There's not been a time when I've gone to a weekly lawn when it hasn't needed mowing. So I've still got a load of hedge jobs from August which I need to get to. So that will also be stuff that, you know, I'll look to be doing in December, but or as soon as this lawn care stuff all gets done and tidied up. To the middle of the lawns, clear it all up. It's very yellowy, this lawn. The fertiliser that I'm using has got a little bit of iron in, so that will hopefully, one, the nitrogen in there, not that it's that much, will help, but also the iron will help with the colouring. So yeah, going to get that cleared up, and at this particular house it goes in the green bin. This is a lawn that I've been looking after for about 1.5 years now. When I first took over, there was a little bit of grass in there, but to be honest, it was mainly moss and sorrel. There were some other weeds there, but sorrel was the main one. From where it was to where it is now, it's still not perfect, but it's a million miles away from where it was, so I'm really pretty pleased. I'll show you it now. Got some big old roots in there, which come from that tree there. So the problem with this is it's very, very shaded and sheltered, so this doesn't get much sunlight, and you don't get much air movement either, so you know, it's really sort of against the odds, but I'm pretty pleased. So today just going to be aerating, solid holotining, feeding, and then just treating any weeds. It is the 11th of November, and this is probably my last aeration of the season, I think, or certainly holotine aeration. I've got some winter solid tining to do, maybe in January. So, but as far as the autumn maintenance goes, I think this is it. Okay, so as I said, this is the last treatment of the year, or maintenance should I say. So I play a little bit of Russian roulette, I suppose. One with the aerator, but also with the selective weed killer. So normally what I would do at the start of the season is just knock up. I've got a load of let me take this blower off. Okay, so what I do is I've got a load of these 20-litre cans, so I'll just fill these up with selective weed killer or iron or whatever it is for the season, and yeah, once they get empty, just fill them back up again and just keep going until I get towards the end of the season. But now, because this is my last selective weed killer treatment, I don't want to mix this up and be left with a load of this. I really want that hopper to be empty by the end of today. It looks as though I think it's filled up to about there. There's not much in there, so I'll probably fill it up to I'll just familiarise myself with how big the lawn is, and then kind of work it out to sort of fill it up as accurately as I can, and then that way I can wash this out when I get home. I can wash the spreader out, so I can wash the sprayer out when I get home, and then that's it. That's it done now until probably March time. As to the aerator, see how much fuel's in there. I might add some fuel, I might not. I'll probably just let it go, and then if I run out I can just top a little bit more up. The ideal scenario here is I would end without any fuel in there, or kind of run out on my last strip. Obviously that's not going to happen, so I just want to leave as little in there as possible. If I have to drain some out, I'll drain it out. If there's barely any in there, then I'll just let it run out, and then that will be it. Unlike the scarifier has now been put to bed until March time probably. The aerator I will be using over the winter in January and February for some solid tining work, but the hollow tine cores, this will be the last time they're used today, until the springtime again. So I will drain the fuel out, but this will get used again at some point. Okay, all done. So that's the lawn aerated. It's actually quite a big lawn all the way around the house there, all this section here. Have you ever seen a mushroom like that? Never seen one quite like that before. So anyway, lots of holes into the ground, so that's great. I've got some cores out. That one's quite a thatchy one. But the key is on thatch levels is you want to have what I would call manageable thatch. So not too much that the nutrients, the water can't get through, and that it stops kind of any airflow in and around the leaf. But then not too little that the second we go into summer there's no moisture and the lawn dries out straight away. So nice little balance, and I like to call it manageable thatch. So we're finished now with the scarifier for the year, probably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this here for the moment, and when I'm cleaning up with the blower I'm going to blow all those cores out. Otherwise, when I give it a good service and a clean, that's all going to end up on my driveway, so I prefer to leave it here. And don't put your hand on that exhaust, it's hot. There's too much fuel in there to just let it burn out, so what I'll do is I'll take that home, and then you have to whip this bit off, but release the pipe from the tank, and then just let it drain into a jerry can, and then use that for either the mowers or the blowers over the next month and a half, maybe. You've got your bald pear area there, and then I've left some cores in and around, so what I'm going to do is now rake them up into that area there. So it looks a little bit unsightly at the moment, but all that is now, not only is it going to grow in, but see, all of this is grass, root and crown, and actually it's only the crown you need to get success with growing. So what you can do when adding to that is now sprinkle some seed down as well. I'm going to I'm going to fertilise and obviously fertilise over the top of this anyway, so that's all going to help the recovery period, but that has just filled in a low spot. Okay, so one other thing which is a good advantage of recycling the cores, obviously by recycling them you haven't got to take them away or move them too far to a dump area, because these are cores from this particular lawn. That patch that I've just done there is going to blend with the rest of the lawn. If you were to just buy some seed and some soil, chuck it down, if that's, you know, no lawn is going to be 100% one seed unless it's, you know, like a sports turf lawn. In any lawn you can have a good mixture of grass. What this is a good mixture of this lawn, so this will blend in nicely and you'll end up not noticing it so much as you would do if you just took some seed and some soil and then just mend that patch. Now we've aerated, I'm going to go over the selective weed killer, take out any weeds which are in the lawn. So what I'm going to do is just use whatever's in there, and then I'll be able to mix up just a little bit. And remember, the goal now is to finish off with ideally without anything in the tank. If there is anything left over, then what I'll probably do is just use that on my lawn just to get it out of the tank, and then I'll be able to wash the tank out, and that will then just sit there until March, until it's next needed. This tank will only ever have selective weed killer or fertilizer in it, nothing else, whereas this one here, this one is for total weed killer and hard surface moss treatments. That never does selective or fertilizer, and that never does total weed killers. That way there can never ever be an accident where it hasn't been washed out properly, or it's been picked up and used by accident. So just got home after my final day of aerating. I took the aerator back to the lockup, and actually I was going to drain the fuel out then, but then I realised that I didn't have any jerry cans which were empty that I could drain the fuel in, because the two that I had with me were actually full. So I've just made a note that that's something that I need to do sooner rather than later. Now, round my way over the last week, there has been a number of van break-ins and van thefts. Now, so what I have done is invested in a little steering wheel lock. This is, to be honest, it's the cheaper one from Halfords, just because I was in there the other day getting some light bulbs for my trailer, and the van side light had gone out, so I thought I'll pick it up. My theory being that I'm steaming up in here. My theory being that neighbours both side of me both have vans. The three houses across the road from me, that's 3 vans and a pickup truck. So if someone's in desperate need of a van, and they see that I've got this steering lock on here, there's more chance that they might target somebody else's van. So I'd been thinking about doing it for a while now, so I would prefer to do it now and get one rather than leave it till it's too late. But hopefully it will never be a problem, but you never know. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Bit all over the place, but hey, it's regular content I guess, so we'll stick with it. See you later.